Hello, this is Greg Michalowski with another Forex report brought to you by Greg Mike FX. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Greg Michalowski, and this is a review of the foreign exchange day for July 14th and a preview for the new day on July 15th. Let's get right into it. The EU economic industrial production came out for the month of May, a bit better than expected, but still very weak at minus 1.1%. The estimate was for minus 1.2%, so a touch better than expectations, but still weak. As you can see, the weakest number going back to at least October 12th. In the UK, we just had the BRC retail sales come out at minus 0.8, weaker than the 1% gain they're expecting. So a negative number coming out from the BRC sales data. Not a good number for the UK for the month of June. Australian new motor vehicle sales will come out at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. That will be, what is that? 1:30 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time, and no estimate is made. But over the last 4 months, we've seen little in the way of a month-on-month gain, just fractional movements there in the Australian new motor vehicle sales. So that's what we have had coming for today. And we also had an event in the way of ECB's Draghi's testimony in Strasbourg. He's speaking in front of the Committee on Economic and Monetary Affairs. Said a lot of things that he mentioned during his press conference after the ECB interest rate decision a week or 10 days ago. Risks the economic outlook on the downside. Unemployment still high. Inflation is very low levels and to remain low over the coming months. Exchange rate, not a policy target, but it is important for inflation outlook. Appreciating euro would be risk to recovery, and finally rates to remain at current levels for an extended period of time. Nothing new there coming out of ECB's Draghi, but it's always nice to hear him speak, isn't it? Forex fact sheet for today shows that the biggest gainer as far as pips go was the sterling versus yen, rising by 51 pips, helped out by the weakening yen. As you can see, a lot of the yen crosses, the euro yen, the sterling yen, the Aussie yen, the Canada yen, all rose to the upside. So gains in those currency pairs. We'll talk a little bit about that later. The sterling versus US dollar was the weakest pair, with losing 32 pips. As far as the ranges go today, still on the light side here, folks. The euro versus US dollar can only manage a 44 pip trading range versus a 51 pip average. So it was a quiet Monday. The only real one currency pair that had a gains over what is their average was the sterling versus US dollar, rising by 70, or having a 73 pip trading range versus 68 average, and the euro yen also outdid itself with a 65 pip trading range versus 56 average. So anyway, volatility still remains low. As far as the stock market goes, we saw increases in all the major stock indices. Also in the bond market, we saw little dips in the Portugal bond yields, which helped the euro out a bit. Portuguese bond yields moved up to 4% last week, but they are down to 381 in trading today. So that took some of the pressure off. Other bond markets pretty much sideways compared to Friday's level. Percentage change in major currency pairs. The strongest currency today was the Canadian dollar, rising against all the major currencies, rising the most against the yen. The weakest currency pair was the yen, losing ground against all the major currency pairs. So all the major currency pairs rose against the yen. Why was the yen so weak? Well, because last week we saw a flight into the relative safety of the yen as a result of Portugal. This week, with the yields coming down and less concern about the bonds of Portugal, we started to see the unwinding of that trade, and so we saw the yen move to the downside versus most of the major currency pairs. In fact, all the major currency pairs. Now, what's coming up ahead? Upcoming fundamental events that we have to look forward to this evening and into tomorrow. 9:30 p.m. at 1:30 Greenwich Mean Time is the Australian Monetary Policy meeting minutes. If you recall, Governor Stevens was starting to talk a little bit and jawbone, try to get the Aussie versus Aussie dollar to the downside. So be aware for more commentary on the value of the Aussie being too high coming out of those meeting minutes. We also have the Japan monetary policy statement, no change is expected. Nikkei News reported that Japan will increase their economic estimates, which would be the first time in 6 months, if that be the case. If so, look for strength in the yen, whereas today it was weaker. Maybe we get some more strength tomorrow as a result of those changes, if they do come in. If the yen doesn't get stronger, that would mean there's a strong sell interest in the yen. So be aware of that. Watch your technical levels. Tomorrow at 5 a.m., Bank of England Carney and Deputy Governor Bailey to testify about the financial stability report. If you remember, in June, toward the end of June, the financial stability report was released, and they proposed at that time that an interest rate stress test on mortgages to a 3% shock over the first 5 years of a loan be done at all banks, determine the stability of those banks. And they also suggested that mortgage lenders should limit the proportion of mortgages at loans to income multiples of 4.5 and above to no more than 15% of the new mortgages. So those are the two major things that came out of the financial stability report. Of course, they'll talk about other things, including perhaps the stability of the economy and effects of the economy on banks, so on and so forth. So it should be interesting times and riskier times tomorrow at 5 a.m. when that financial stability report testimony starts to take place. Also at 10 a.m., increased risk as well when Fed's Yellen testifies in front of the in front of the Senate tomorrow. Remember, after the interest rate decision, during the press conference after the interest rate decision, Yellen called inflation noisy. So the increase in inflation she thought as transitory or noise. Also worried about the value of the unemployment statistics, how they mask some weakness in the unemployment. She will likely say, however, that quantitative easing is likely to end in October. There is some debate whether it be October at the October meeting or the December meeting. As long as the economy remains on track, and it appears to be, then the quantitative easing will indeed end in October with a $15 trillion reduction in the bond buying at that time. So that's what we have as far as economic events going on. As far as the economic releases going on between now and tomorrow evening, we also have a lot of economic releases. First, UK CPI month on month is supposed to come out at plus 0 or minus 0.1 versus minus 0.1 last month. The first 2 month decline, I guess. Going back at least to October 12th, we only see singular declines in the report. So inflation, not a concern as far as that goes. German zoo economic sentiment been trending to the downside here over the last 5 months. 5 or so months, and it's supposed to come in again at down versus previous month at 29.8. Supposed to come in at 28.2. That would hurt the euro if it comes out at that or weaker. U.S. retail sales are expected to rise by 0.6%. That'll be released at 8:30 tomorrow morning. It would be the fifth straight monthly decline. We also have EU zoo economic sentiment. We have the core retail sales coming out with the U.S. retail sales. Empire Manufacturing Index and business inventories coming out in the U.S. New Zealand, the CPI, that's a quarter-on-quarter number. That will be for the second quarter, I guess, comes out with the expectations of plus 0.4 versus plus 0.3. China GDP and China industrial production fill out the day as far as economic releases go. If you like this video and want to see more, click on subscribe right there, that button right there. And for more information on trading Forex, or if you want to be on my mailing list, a new website's going to be coming out in September with other plans and ideas from GregMikeFX.com. Enter your email address right here. Just click that subscribe button, and I'll make sure that I get you all that information as it becomes available, and maybe send you some special reports along the way. My name is Greg Michalowski, and this has been a review of the Forex and Foreign Exchange Day and a preview of the new trading day ahead. Good fortune with your trading, folks.